Alright, so, hello all. I'm the Grand Author. These are my friends, Jaden, Riley, Michael. I use they, them pronouns. Riley uses they, them pronouns. Jaden and Michael use he, him. And we are going to be playing Dungeons & Dragons. This is the second session. You should watch the first session before you watch this one. Anyway, where were
We
we?
did some fun. We did some funny, haha, spooky ghost stuff. That's what we did last session.
Yes, okay. So, I want to jump back in time a little bit because you found the solution to the ghost puzzle. By which I mean you, got the best possible ending to my intro arc. But I didn't really have the time or energy to fully describe the end half of the session. So, okay. Hold on, okay. I've got cats in my room now. This is fine. Alright. So, you found several things to wrap up quick. Several loose ends. First of all, I want to congratulate you on getting the best possible ending. I really was not expecting that. I honestly thought you were going to screw it up somehow and end up having to murder one or the other. Because there were some, things you could have done. You could have, messed up a couple of interactions with them and basically locked yourself out of the good ending. But you didn't. You didn't do that, so good job. And then I also want to say, I didn't expect you to sequence break it quite so hard. I expected you to slowly explore the bottom half of the building, then the top half, and then go out and look in the back and in the basement and stuff. I didn't think you would just immediately go into the gazebo and
I was looking for a shovel.
Yeah, I know. You were supposed to be like, there's not a shed out here, and whatever. It doesn't matter what I intended to happen, because
we really just stumbled face first. We just stumbled face first and did the good ending.
Yeah, I mean, that's Dungeons & Dragons sometimes. Hey, it all worked out. So,
yeah.
Revealing the journal to each of the Fairchilds, the adult Fairchilds, was the solution to basically convincing them that their daughter had, first of all, been, well-intentioned or not, drugging them for the better part of a few years. And it made them realize, just how much they had, hurt each other and their children and, messed up everything. Once you showed it to both, that was the condition for, okay, you did it. Great job. As each of them read the journal and come to realize the truth about what happened and their whole situation, their features start to become more distinct in their sort of ghastly projections. So, what was Simon, right? It was Simon. Simon Fairchild was the... Yes, okay. By the way, I stole that name from the Magnus Archives. Anyway, Simon Fairchild, the musical one, his form starts to, coalesce. It was this distortion in the air, sort of like heatwave distortions, but now it becomes more and more distinct, and it's this very strange thing to look at, sort of like a person folding out of existence, like there was a hole in the air and suddenly there's a person there. But it's more gradual, it's hard to describe in words. But you watch as this sort of fairly short, kind of down-looking man in nice but kind of drab clothing manifests in the air. And he's still like spooky and foggy and ethereal. And he just is very. I mean, as he finishes reading the journal, uh, he sort of sinks to the floor and just looks completely downcast and starts muttering to himself in these whispers that you can hear throughout the room, just over and over. I'm sorry, I didn't know what I was doing. And then you go and you show the journal to the mother, Grisella Fairchild, and she basically the same thing happens. Her like paint golem ghost thing starts to like more the paint melts into a more accurate portrait of her, and then eventually it's just like her standing in front of you, still spooky and ethereal and slightly see-through in places, but she also sinks to the floor and apologizes repeatedly to no one in particular. um, and after both of them are uh, basically like clued in to the reality of the situation, uh, you meet up in the Great Hall of the Manor House, and there is a third spectral figure, the eldest sister, whose name you never found out. You would have had to read her journal in order to find her name. I really expected you to do so. It was in her satchel, but you just tossed that and her entire body into her sister's grave. Anyway, um, somehow you still got the good ending after doing that. I don't know. Um, so her name was Mirabelle Fairchild. Anyway, she's there, and she looks kind of miffed at all of you for, throwing her bones into her sister's grave very
No,
unceremoniously.
that's all Jaden's handiwork. That's all Jaden's handiwork.
Well, maybe don't look so gravy.
Alright, well, I mean, it worked out in the end, I guess. Um, I'd really recommend you, maybe read my journal at some point. I wrote it to be read. Whatever. Uh, you saved my parents. Thank you very much. By the way, she's in this, like, sailor's uniform. Her ghost is. And she's got, like, a sword at her hip, and, like, she looks very badass and cool.
Gappy Fairchild.
And, yeah, then floating out of the doors that you just came through, and also the door on the other side, are the ghosts of Simon and Grisella Fairchild. They meet up in the air over the table with their eldest daughter, and they all sort of like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know what I was doing, it's okay, I forgive you, etc., etc. It's very touching. It's very sweet. Um, and they all resolve to like, um, oh wait, hold on. At one point, Simon does like look around the room and uh, seems a bit confused, and he asks, "Where, where is Rithia? If we're all together again?" And Mirabelle sort of winces. She moved on century, a century ago, almost immediately afterwards. I helped her move on, and I was planning to do the same with you. It wasn't her fault what happened. It was no one's fault. It was an accident. And when she realized that, she was able to move on, but you two were a bit more high strung, and a little bit killed me. And Grisella's like, yes, yes, again, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize it was you. I thought it was an intruder to steal our fortune. Uh, and Mirabelle says, I know. Still a little bitter that you killed me, but, well, It's fine now, I guess. And after a bit more just like talking and, confirming the story between the three of them, they turn to you. And Mirabelle says, "Thank you so much for finally allowing me to return my parents to rest. The tragedy that happened here was horrific, but now this place is yours. I hope you take care of it, and I hope it takes care of you." And yeah, Simon and Grisella start to sort of fade away into ethereal mist. And then Mirabelle says, "Oh, and I stashed the family treasure under the tool shed, which was sort of destroyed a while back, but uh, it's under a patch of the. Did I ever name the flower that she was using to
No.
drug her? Oh, okay. Well, I believe it was called Halo something. It was something with Halo, and it was a little golden flower. By the way, I think like Death's Halo or like Ghost's Halo, something with something morbid like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's under a patch of that in the garden, away from the grave. It's very obvious where it is. When you go out, it's like a circle of it around a blank spot, and it's very clear where the treasure is buried. Anyway, thank you once again for all of your help. And then she fades into the mist. Not quite
Yeah.
done. Couple more things. So, Riley, last week you said that Sandra wanted to take the gallery room and put the piano from the attic in there, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you never finished exploring the gallery room last time. I mentioned that there was one, like, central painting that was under a big sheet, and it looked very important, and you never looked at it or removed the sheet.
Alright.
You do so now, after the fact.
Mm.
It's a painting of Rithia,
Mm.
and like, now that you've seen her body, like, you know what she looks like, in those brief moments before it crumbled to dust. So you know that this is a painting of her, and she is, like, peacefully asleep in this portrait. It looks to be the same pose that her body was in and everything, except that there's no journal in her hands, and surrounding her, woven into her hair, surrounding her head, is hundreds of those little golden flowers, forming a halo around her. And that was the hint.
Ironic.
And that was the hint that you were supposed to use the flower from the plant. But you never looked at the painting. So...
Ironic.
Great
well,
job, everyone. Anyway,
we still go into it face first.
Flower.
anyway,
Flower.
you just, like, had the flower on you, so I gave it to you, but, like, technically, this is where you would have learned to use the flower with the painting. Anyway.
Mm.
So, the house is now free of ghosts, and there's still water in the basement, but, you each pick out
I'll have to refill it.
Yeah. You're all on the wrong page still, aren't you? You are. Oops. Hold on. Boop. So, you all, head back inside, pick out your rooms. Xavier congratulates you all on a job well done. And also, I would like to say that with the money we got from the treasure, we'll be able to fix up this manor quite effectively. I already have a team picked out. They'll work for fairly cheap and get it all fixed up. It should take them about a month. In that time, I hope you all spend your bonuses well. You'll each be getting a total of 60 gold pieces.
Nice.
Uh, and then you return to the inn. And that night, each of you receives a letter, uh, in a sense, that you have already read out of character. But this is the night after your adventure. Because once you're done with all of this ghost nonsense, it's rather late. So you return to the inn, you eat some food. You're still paid out for like the rest of the week and probably the rest of the month now, because the manor house itself won't be like ready to live in until the crew's
I need
done.
to say bye.
Sorry, what? What was that? Hello?
Mike,
Okay,
no.
I'm back.
Okay.
What happened?
I had to say goodbye. We're leaving the camp we were at.
Oh, okay.
Fishing.
I'll try to hurry up. How long can you stay on, by the way?
Oh, I can stay on while we're driving. I was just saying goodbye.
Oh, okay.
I'm literally on my phone, so.
All right. Well, assuming your data holds out. So,
So I might cut in and out here and there.
okay. Uh, I'll try to get to your thing quick if you want to then. But, so you now have a month of downtime, and you don't have to use it right now, because I think I've mentioned before, I am going to hand out downtime in increments of months, as like a reward for quests. And you can use it to like learn languages or research things at the library, train in certain skills at various locations around like the guilds in town, etc. You can use it to earn extra money or do various other things. Um, there's not much you can do with 1 month, but you get one for now. And yeah, you each have your letters that night. And 60 gold pieces. So, I will allow you to do what you wish.
So,
Well, I guess we can't hold any parties at the Fairchild residence because that's being fixed. Hmm.
The inn is rather. It's sort of a place. It's in Hightower, actually. It's right around the plaza that the Nihilist is in. There's a couple little like inns and taverns and things around it because it's a tourist spot. It's an attraction,
Mm.
and it's technically a religious site, but they still let inns be there. Uh, and it's surprisingly quiet actually because it's one of, as I've mentioned before, this is one of the warmest times of the year up this far north. So most of the snow in the area is just slightly melting a little bit. It's still like cold, but it's as warm as it gets. It's like the middle of summer. Uh, what passes for summer in these parts anyway. So most everyone is outside, sort of at various markets or fishing or uh, having little like get-togethers around town, etc. So you have most of this inn to yourself. There's only a couple other like small groups in distant corners of the main like tavern hall of this inn. And it's pretty much just the three of you, and probably Xavier's probably like in his room and or overseeing the fixing up of the manor house, though you could like if you wanted to call him over and talk to him. There's no rush on anything right now, so he is available if you want to hang out or do whatever. um, yeah, but like you can totally just do whatever you want.
I think we should all go to the library.
Well, we don't all need to go to the library. Or sorry,
it should be
character
a
classes. We don't all need to go to the library.
team building. It could be a team building exercise.
Well, I
You-
personally need to talk to Xavier for something.
Oh,
For-
Well, then you go ahead and do that. I believe that I should be going to have a little fun with some locals, shall we say.
Oh boy. You gonna hand out some more business cards?
so,
I shall.
so are we splitting the party then?
Yep.
All right.
actually, I'd like to do something first.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to try and sleight of hand all the cards away.
No.
I'm gonna let you roll, but considering
Roll.
it is like a mechanism attached to her wrist, that's not gonna be easy.
Oh, I just want to take the cards away.
The cards are in
Yeah,
a
you have to
mechanism
take-
in her wrist.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Oh no,
well,
that's a really
I have
good
a
roll.
+4 to sleight of hand.
Well, okay, so like, as you're all walking towards the door of the inn to go your separate ways, Zentil like reaches out for a handshake. And what is Sendra's passive perception?
Not enough.
Roll,
It's not 22.
roll perception with advantage because it's literally attached to you, but I doubt you're gonna beat a 22.
Yeah. I literally can't. It's a flat roll for me.
Oh,
I literally
well,
cannot.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, Zentil, you have the little like box that has all of the cards in it. The mechanism itself is still attached to Sendra's wrist, but you stole all the cards out of it.
Why?
You don't know. Sendra has no idea.
Yes, but I out of character. Why did you steal cards?
My reasons are beyond your understanding.
Oh god, you're gonna frame me for murder, aren't you?
What? No, that's illegal.
Delightful.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so each of you goes your separate ways. Shadow is heading towards the stacks to meet up with Xavier. Sendra is headed towards... Wait, where is Sendra going? Hold on.
Sendra's going to start like so. Okay, so Sendra has like started posting up pictures around town, saying that there's a party at the tavern that we're staying at.
Okay. So you're just sort of wandering, like, Invictus and North Bank and this whole area?
Yeah, just trying to get as many people as I can to have a party.
Alright. And then, Zentil is gonna head towards Gildern, towards the, library tower?
Yeah,
Okay. So...
but first I have to ask: is there like a fantasy Kinko's around?
So, alright. Speaking of shops, Xavier would have mentioned there are a couple of like general stores around town. One in South Bank, one in North Bank, and one on East Shore. But those are just sort of sell like standard adventuring gear from the player's handbook. If you want to find anything that sells like magical items or exotic items or potions or anything, that is going to be something you have to like find for yourself, because those places tend to be a little bit shadier, a little bit cagier about their locations and their clientele.
Could Shadow technically have advantage looking for those since he's lived here and is a rogue?
Well, first, Sendra, I'd like you to roll me perception again as you're going to all of these like trading posts and things, looking to put up your flyers and stuff.
Oh, I accidentally rolled that with advantage.
That's fine. An 11 is high enough. There are a couple of flyers around for various the general stores and just sort of regular shops, and there is one like basically a scribe house, not the fantasy equivalent to a Kinko's, I guess, where you can hire some scribes to copy all of your cards and things if you want to.
Hmm.
It won't be cheap because scribes are like super expensive, but you could. And other like just adventuring supply shops and fishing shops and a lot of like places advertising their food. And a couple of flyers that are hard to like. It's hard to parse exactly what they're trying to say.
Well, that's not a very good thing. The flyer is supposed to be quick and concise advertisement. It's not supposed to be convoluted.
It looks like there are pictures of like sort of vague symbolism, and the words seem to be sort of uh, cryptic, though you could potentially like. It seems that this is some kind of encoded uh, manner of like sharing where all of the different magic shops are. So if you wanted to find the magic shops, you would have to, figure out the code. Or you could just wander. Speaking of which, so, Zentil, as you are heading through, uh, you would be going through North Bank to a bridge, then through West Shore to Gildern. So,
Yep.
can you roll me a d6?
Just a d6?
Just
I,
a
in fact,
d6.
can.
No, Zentil, not Sandra.
Two.
Nope.
Oh,
3.
whoops.
Okay. So,
I'm but a fool.
alright. You actually are, at one point you bump into a person on the street, as you're walking, on the bridge, actually.
Oh.
And you know how this sort of thing goes. You're not being pickpocketed. Well, you are, but sort of in reverse. Uh, you're kinda down on this kind of thing. And as you check your pocket, you find a flyer for a potion shop.
Oh.
It's called You Know Brew, and it's located in the southern part of West Shore, right down here. You could
Okay.
stop by on your way to the library. Uh, Meanwhile, Shadow, roll me a d6.
Do you what?
A d6. Oh, I can roll it. I forgot that you can't actually. Right.
Just wait. I think I can actually. Just wait. Here we go. I got a 1.
Ah. Um. So as you are heading through the stacks, you actually get a little bit lost on your way back to the manor house. You've only, gone there once. And you end up just like wandering for a bit. And you get mugged. I'm kidding. No, you just sort of get lost for a while.
Yeah, I haven't wanted to stack so much.
Alright. So, let's do Shadow and Xavier first. So Xavier is overseeing a crew of mostly, it looks like, humans and halflings as they are sort of building, like, just cleaning everything off and sort of shoring up the supports of the building where they seem to have eroded, and clearing out some of the weeds in front and cutting back shrubbery, etc. Uh, just making sure that no one oversteps their bounds and breaks anything. As you walk up, he notices you and waves.
I wave back and walk up. So,
I didn't get any of that. You went full robot. Alright, and your data has gone to shit. I cannot understand a word you're saying. You're cutting completely out. So I'm actually gonna go do something else. Let's, sorry about that. Let's do Zentil's thing.
Alright.
So are you gonna stop by the potion shop on your way, or are you gonna head straight to the library? What's your plan?
I'll stop by the potion shop.
Alright. So you have to follow the instructions on this flyer, and
Sting 1, 2, 3.
it's still not great. I think it's just your data. Yep, definitely your
We
data.
are a bit up north.
Yep,
Yeah, I'm on 1 bar of 4G right now.
Yep, that's not good. Okay, so Zentil, you head to the potion shop. You follow the instructions on the flyer, and you sort of... It's weird, you have to kind of duck through another smaller shop, and, like, into an alley, and then down a ladder, and it's this whole runaround. But you eventually come to a door that is mostly featureless, except for a, like, symbol scratched into the side of it, just like the flyer says that it will be. And you open the door and walk in, and you are in this brazier-lit underground potion shop.
My kind of place.
There are shelves upon shelves of various, like, cauldrons and ingredients and things. Although it looks like most of the good stuff is in the back, where there's this big tavern-like bar behind which stands a figure. And they have all of these potions behind them, what look like finished potions, various colorful, swirling concoctions.
Alright, potion man, what do you got for me?
They turn around, and actually, it is a potion woman. It's a tabaxi with a little name tag. And she sort of smiles at you, and she's in this, like, sort of, it looks like part leather armor, part dress. Wow, Michael is just connecting and disconnecting every half a second. Anyway, so yeah, she's in this, like, part leather armor, part dress. It's got lots of, like, pouches for various potions. She's got flasks and things strapped around her. I'm gonna go ahead and, I kind of want to mute Michael for now, because there's, I think, some feedback. Okay, he muted himself. That's fine. So...
Okay.
Yeah, she turns to you, and her name tag reads Melissa. And she sort of leans across her bar and is like, "Hello there. What can I get for you?"
Well, what do you got, Melissa?
Well, we've got the standard cauldrons, alembics, various reagents and ingredients, salt, flour bits, fish scales, potion things scattered around. Those are all labeled. I'm sure you can help yourself with that. But if you want some of the real good stuff, and she slides you a price sheet, which I'm going to go ahead and give to all of you. Hold on. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. In players' journals, all players, and let's show to players. And you can read all of these potions that she has. Feel free to ask me about whatever you have questions of.
Potion of Insmollen.
Yes, in Smolin, it has the reduce effect from Embiggen reduce. Or
I got that. I just like how it's spelled. What is the Potion of Wonder?
Ah, yes. So, have you ever encountered... well, I have a wild magic sorcerer friend.
I'll take 20.
Alright. Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. So 20 of those will be 20 gold pieces.
Yeah.
Okay. You have 20 potions of wonder. They do take an action to consume. But yes, they do exactly what you think they do. You drink one and you roll on either the wild magic table or the wand of wonder table, whichever one you choose. Any other picks while you're here? Any other questions about the menu?
I'll also take healing. Never know.
How many of which?
I'll just take a 1 normal.
Okay. So that'll be a total of 30 gold pieces.
30 for for all of it, okay.
So is that all you're doing here?
Yep.
You don't have any questions about the other? I spent a long time. Okay. As you are finishing up, she takes a moment and looks a little bit uncomfortable for a second, and then says, "Hold on a moment, dear," and unclips a little vial from her belt, and chugs it immediately. It's got this swirling purpley yellow fluid that constantly shifts color, and she chugs it real quick. And then over the course of a few minutes, she sort of shudders a little bit, and transforms in front of you. And after a moment, she is no longer she is he. And he quickly flips over his little name tag, and it reads now Alisem. And Alisem says to you, "Well, alright, so 30 gold pieces, right?"
Yep, I got those.
Alright, here you go. And he hands over all of your various vials. Careful with those. You don't want that bag breaking. No one knows what'll happen then.
I put them carefully into my bag.
Alright. Now what?
You see, when I said I was going to the library, it was a deception.
I figured. What are you actually doing?
I'm going the place.
Right. So, out of character, this is the quote-unquote letter that Zentil received last night. And it details a location in Gildern that he is supposed to check out. The house of one of his patrons' previous servants who recently died in a tragic accident. Uh, so you head to this house on the southern edge of Gildern, near the riverfront. Oh, I'm getting a message in Discord. Or someone is. I thought it was me.
No, that would be me.
Mute yourself, you dang fool. Okay, so you head to this house. And the sight upon first, walking up to it is not promising. Uh, the house appears to have already been sort of looked over. Uh, as is often the case with unnatural deaths within Everflow, there was quickly an investigation during which the house of the deceased was sort of, picked over. They went over the will. They immediately tried to figure out where all of the belongings would go, etc. Which is, good from a a public service standpoint and a civil
Bad
service
from me.
standpoint. Bad for someone who wants to get their hands on something the deceased owned. So yeah, you can tell almost immediately that if what you're looking for was here, it's probably not here anymore, though that doesn't necessarily mean it's not worth checking out. It seems that the house is actually, it's not a full house, it's like an apartment, part of a larger complex, as most areas in Gildern are. This part of Gildern, anyway. And it is actually, there's an open house going on. It's being shown to prospective owners.
I'll check it out.
Mm. So there are various sort of. There's only a couple other people kind of milling about. They look higher end. A few people shoot glances your way as you walk in. You don't look like the normal clientele for, this part of town. But no one, stops you. It's an open house. And you can kind of look around. There's pretty much just the bedroom, the study, and the main den living area, as well as the kitchen. And very quickly you notice that all of the bookshelves are blank. And
Oh.
in and there is a bed still in the bedroom, but it looks like all of the sheets have been changed recently, and most of the furniture looks newish. So there's not many places that what you're looking for could have been hidden that it wouldn't have already been discovered. There is one person who seems to be sort of leading all of the other people around. They're probably the real estate agent. They appear to know more about the property and the previous owner than anyone else.
You know what I'm gonna do? I go into the bathroom and go.
There's not a
Is
bathroom.
this? There's no bathroom? What is this? Fine, I go into the kitchen.
It's Fantasyland. Public bathrooms,
There's no
man.
kitchen.
There's a
Well,
kitchen, but there's
it's the rich district.
What? Yeah, but
I check. Oh well. I go to the kitchen
poor
and
districts just shit in a pot and throw it in the street. I mean, I don't know what you expect me to say.
Oh,
This is medieval
we're living
lands.
we're living in 18th America. Okay. I go to the kitchen then, and I go look by the I don't know, fantasy food cupboard.
It would just be a cupboard, yeah. If you're looking through
And
the pantries and stuff.
I kind of open one and I go, "Is this black mold?"
Roll deception. I assume you'll be very good at this, as it's like your main thing.
Oh!
Oh, that's a nat 1, though. So, as you open up the cupboard and exclaim that, the man who is showing off the house is actually standing fairly close, and he immediately just looks over and into the cupboard and says, "No, that's pepper. Some of it must have spilled."
Oh, very sorry. I'm sorry. My dog died to black mold.
Oh, did he eat it? I don't.
He was a dog. He was not very smart. So yes,
Hmm.
he ate.
Well, tragic. I am the realtor in charge of selling the place on behalf of the bank. Could I ask, are you a prospective buyer then?
I was here looking for something. I knew this man. Uh, I do not say the in game because
Yeah.
I knew Kessel because he was my friend. We
Ah,
went drinking every Sunday evening.
okay, roll deception again, just because of how hard you're pressing this.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's much better. Alright. Oh, well, I have nothing to do with the. As I said, I'm just here on behalf of the bank. Although, if you're looking for something, well, okay, there's a public office in North Bank that should be able to tell you what happened to, well, him, most of his belongings, etc. Really, you should have come forward during the funeral and reading of the will. There was no one there. It was very awkward. That's why the bank ended up with most of his things. Um,
Oh,
Mostly just the house. A lot of his belongings were auctioned off to, well, the highest bidder.
hmm.
Well,
I have a weird question.
okay.
Have I ever seen a will and testament
And, like, you
in
know,
game?
probably not. They're sort of only a thing for, like, nobles, well-known people, people with lots of money. Um, Pretty much the only reason it was a thing for Kestrel was because he had some money. That's why he was able to have a place in Gildern. You, I mean, you're not from the most well-off place, are you? And I don't know how
No,
much
and
you've
just
hung out with nobles, so I think probably not.
I am a noble. I'm from the Crawford family.
Yeah, okay. I don't think if your character has actually hung out a lot with, I don't know how to phrase this without just being like, I know you're lying because I'm the dungeon master. Um, Basically, has your character actually been around nobles, or do they just claim to be around nobles loudly?
I have only claimed to be around them loudly.
Okay, so you probably like know the general details of all of this, but you wouldn't know the specifics. You wouldn't know the nitty gritty, although most people wouldn't until they were actually at one or two. Um, so that's not the most suspicious thing.
All right. Are there museums to any famous dead people in Everflow?
Um, I assume you're asking this to the.
Oh no,
Uh,
I'm just yeah, sure, I'll ask. Kind of a
well,
weird question.
not particularly. Most of that sort of thing. The College of Bards keeps a lot of records of the people in the area. They like to note down, the local histories and legends and oral tales. The library also keeps many records of these sorts of things. Uh, if you're looking for more like statistical information, I'd go to the library. If you're looking for more just sort of general museum-y stuff, uh, and like emotional things towards the bards. Two halves of history telling, the academic and
Ah,
the folk tales.
all right. Thank you for your service, sir. I'll be on my way now.
All right. Have a nice evening, morning, whatever time it is.
I'll have a nice day.
Hmm.
Now my
So,
going to the library is no longer a deception.
hmm, interesting. Yeah, so you actually have three places you could possibly go next: the library, the College of Bards, or the Office of Public Records that handles like what happens with the deceased. Uh, a funeral home, basically a public funeral home for the whole town.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the library
All right.
and see if they just have like a replica of a last will and testament that I could just look at for a little bit.
All right. So you go to the library. It is this grand, opulent tower with a huge throng of people. It's a very popular destination. It's got these glass spires and these floating magical, they look like plumb bobs and waystones just sort of hovering around the top of it, reflecting light into the main sun chamber at the top. It's
Oh,
a
I
very
can't wait for these
fancy.
people to get stuck in the bathroom.
It's a very fancy, very magical building. Um, the main lobby is very well trodden. It's got what I mean. You walk in and it looks like a giant library. This main hall is open to the public, and it's just got thousands and thousands of books on all of these shelves that form this huge, like labyrinthine filing system that you could probably get lost in for a long time. There are assistants sort of around near card catalogs to help people find things, as well as several checkpoints around the doors with what look like basically, when you leave Walmart and there's those things to check if you're carrying out any stolen merchandise. It's basically
Mm-hmm.
those, but fantasy.
All right. I mean, I'm not looking to take anything with me for now, so.
And then there's also a central help desk with like two people behind it. One's already helping someone, the other looks free. This is a very popular destination. There's like hundreds of people in this room alone, and then there are big staircases that lead up into the rest of the tower. The tower gets like thinner as it gets higher up, as most towers do, so this is the largest room in the entire building.
Hmm. Well, I go up to the help desk and I put on a very innocent looking face. Please, sir, where do you keep your legal documents?
I'm going to have to ask that you stop talking like that right now.
Fine. But where do you keep the legal documents?
Well, legal would be on the third floor. Uh, what specifically are you looking for?
Wills and testaments.
Hmm, that kind of thing. Let's see. Uh, they sort of rifle through some paperwork. Not very often that we get public records inquiries. Mostly people just want to read fantasy or research. Okay, looks like. How recent was the deceased?
It doesn't matter. I just want to look at one.
Well, it does matter because that sort of says
Oh,
how
recent.
close. Okay.
Like,
Within the last 10 years or so.
yeah.
Alright, so then it'll be in section modern. Last name?
Uh,
I assume you're gonna. Lark. His last name is Lark. Uh,
oh, okay.
you would know
I thought
that
you meant
in
mine.
character.
Yeah,
Um,
I thought you meant my last name. I was like,
yeah, last name of the deceased. You tell them.
Okay. Luck.
Okay, L A. Okay, here is a slip, and they write down like some esoteric seeming code. It's a series of letters and numbers that you have no idea what this means. And they hand it to you, and they're like, show that to the archival assistant on floor 3. They should point you in the right direction. Please
Alright.
get away from me. I don't like
Okay.
your face.
That's rude.
Yeah, but I have job security, so I'm allowed to be an asshole to customers.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye. They are totally getting a bad fantasy Yelp review from me.
All right. They're very helpful. They're just an asshole.
Exactly. It's like this will be a 3-star, not a 2-star.
So you head up to. Looks like the second floor is mostly like history and various like general maps and geography and like that kind of stuff, all kind of bundled together. The first floor was mostly fiction of tons of different authors, almost entirely fiction. And then here on the third floor is the public records office, and this is the last public floor. Floor 4 and above, there are 10 floors of this library. Floor 4 and above require a library pass, at least, like a membership with the library. Uh,
Oh.
and floor um, like floors 8, 9, and 10 are all private and owned directly by Caliph and are part of their private collection and personal hoard. And they are like unique magical books and artifacts related to their interests.
Might be needing a book of vile darkness yet, so we'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. This is all public knowledge. You're not allowed up on the top floors without like explicit permission from either like Caliph directly or a high level library assistant, or like basically it'll be a decent amount of work to get any of that. But the public records office is, as I said, public.
Such as finding the linguist stone.
Public records office is public. You hand the little slip over to an archival assistant. They kind of look at it for a minute and then go, and then read a couple little guides that they have. Like, it's their job to be able to figure out what this means, and they're still like, I cannot read this fucking chicken scratch. What is this? And then after a while, they're like, oh, okay. It should be somewhere around. You know what? I'll just show you. And they lead you over into first through a section of obituaries, then through a section of like public records of like there's tons of maps of the town and various like markings of who owns what, etc. And then way in the back, there's a little shelf with like will and testaments and like records of who owns certain things and that kind of stuff. This seems to be a very small section of the public records office. And then they spend a while just sort of leafing through various folders and books until they find what looks to be a copy of the document you're looking for.
There we go.
Right? So will and testaments are, in this day and age, not very common because, again, pretty much only the nobles have enough money and assets to care. where they go, and they're usually fairly simple. So it looks like this one was especially simple. It was notarized in South Bank. It has all the usual paperwork, Kestrel Lark written right at the top. 90% of his belongings are just like going to paying back his various debts that he has racked up over the years in Invictus, which is not surprising. And then at the bottom there is one note for a chest, a personal chest located in his closet when he died, that is to be taken to a specific location outside of town and buried.
Maybe I'll have to do some grave robbing.
There are also attached files. This is like the official legal document, and then there are follow-ups, basically. And they sort of detail, like, so what happened with the body is they cremated it because no one claimed it, which is standard procedure. It's currently in, like, the public mausoleum. And then what they did with most of his assets is they sold them at auction to pay off his fines and like debts and things. And then there is like something at the bottom of this page that says "See additional reference." And getting a little bit tired of all of this rigmarole that you have to go through to figure out what happened to this friggin' book, you go to the last page in the file, and it states, against the wishes of the deceased, the chest was accidentally opened instead of being buried. Inside were several documents in a language that could not be read or deciphered. As such, it was believed that that the deceased was attempting to keep encoded secrets from the Everflow authorities, and these journals were seized and are currently being held in the private records of the library on floor 7.
God. Okay. I can work with this. All right. You there, and I point to like an employee.
Probably the same assistant that's been helping you this whole time?
Yeah. Do you could I see what a library card would look like if I could have one?
Oh, sure. They pull up their sleeve, and tattooed onto their arm is a crest of the library with a little bronze, or no, bronze? Wait, brass? What kind of dragon is Caliph? Hold on. It's got a dragon on it, surrounding books, and then a depiction of the tower in the center. Once you join the library, you're in for life. It will
Would that
require a
count
bit
as
of
a
paperwork,
document?
though.
Paperwork. Oh, don't worry, paperwork's easy.
All
But
right.
I don't know.
Well, if you're interested in joining, we can see you down on in the basement where we keep all of our offices for inquiries into. And they sort of start mumbling, and they're listing like a lot of really boring shit that you don't care about, and you just follow them.
Yeah, I just want a library. You know, I hope that nihilist isn't a hack. I could totally get like inducted into a crazy murder cult, and you know what? I don't want another one. So
So you're taken into this sort of private hall where there's actually a couple of people filling out forms, and they hand you just a stack of papers. and they're like, "You're fluent in reading Common, right? I mean, you've been reading
Of
Common for some
course.
time. Yes, all right.
Of course.
Here's a quill. Here's an inkwell. Go ahead."
All right.
And you are just sort of left to your own devices to read and fill out all this paperwork. I'm going to just sort of skim through it for the interesting bits. Most of it is just legal. I won't steal from the library. I will not reveal secrets that the library has not allowed me to. I will stay in the sections of the library that are for people with the library pass, not staff stuff. Just follow the rules basically. And then as for the interesting bits, there is some stuff about not copying any documents without permission. And then there is, it is illegal in Everflow to have written information that there isn't a copy of in the library. The library is sort of, Calith has kind of twisted the law in their favor to make it so that if a book enters town, you have to put a copy in the library. Any legal document, any book, anything longer than a one-page personal letter, there has to be a copy with official notation and record in the library. Calith wants complete control of all information that enters and exits the city, and they want to absolutely record everything. And part of this agreement is basically saying, if I have any books, if I have any records, if I have anything, I will allow the library to make copies of it. And if I have reason to suspect anyone else in the city of Everflow has the same, I will also swear to allow the library to make copies of those.
All right.
So they're a little bit of a crazy information cult, but they're dedicated to the preservation of all knowledge, but also they're a little bit crazy.
Well, that explains a lot, but, well, luckily, I can forge.
So you're gonna try and put fake name on these papers?
You
don't like the way I said that, do
I'm gonna
you?
do some. I don't, but I wouldn't have any. Well,
your character would have no idea not to do that.
I know.
Your character would totally
I know.
forge a fake name on these papers.
Yeah.
Roll me a charisma saving throw. There's a slight tingling in your hand as you write out a fake name, and you get the sense that you probably shouldn't have done that, but also nothing in particular seems to happen.
All right then.
Oh, actually, which fake name do you use? Would you use Sentil Crawford?
Yeah. My common fake name.
Which you've been using with a lot of people around town, and it's basically it's basically a second name at this point.
I have legal documents for it, so yeah.
Yeah, alright. Yeah, okay. So you feel a little tingle, but nothing much happens. There's also a small fine, or there's a fee, 5 gold to open an account.
I have that.
Yeah. Easy.
I also have 20 wonder potions, so if they want 5 gold, I could give them 5 wonder potions, but I don't do that.
Oh, they won't accept trades. But yeah, you hand over your paperwork and gold. And as the filing assistant is taking all of your paperwork, they take the page that you had to sign, and they actually pull out a very neat, like, metal wand, and they wave it over, and the ink that you wrote your name in starts to glow slightly, and it kind of shimmers, and they make a face, like not a frown entirely, but sort of a contemplative, uh, and then the ink starts to glow brighter, and then like, all right, well, Zentil Crawford, welcome to the library. The tattooing station is over there.
And there we go.
It's extremely painful, but you now have a library tattoo. And you have access to levels 1 through 7 of the library.
And I go to finally get that dang journal.
All right. So, the journal is kept in the restricted section because there's only one copy of it. And the reason there's only one copy of it, as opposed to every other book in this library, is because no one in the library has been able to copy it yet, or even decipher what it says. As far as they're able to tell, it is untranslatable. The runes that it is written in are completely unique. Magic fails to copy it, but there's no magic on the book itself. It's something to do with the script it's written in, which is a major annoyance for the librarians. But not for you, because you look
They
at
should
these
get
words.
good.
Because you look at these words, and you immediately recognize that this is the code that is always used by followers of your patron.
Oh, yeah,
And you can read it fluently.
I can. I am a gamer.
So yeah, there's a journal. It's sort of on a bookshelf. You pull it off the bookshelf and open it, and you can read it. And there's a note in its cover that says, "This book is untranslatable," and you're just like, dumbasses.
Yeah, dumbasses. That's what they are.
So you gonna read it?
Yeah.
All right. The journal details a ritual as you expected it to, although it also has just general notes about the area of Everflow. Specifically, it has several passages dedicated to the Nihilist. Not specifically the Nihilist itself, just sort of the phenomenon of the Nihilist being here in the prime material plane. Because that's not normal.
Not
The
at
fact
thunder.
the fact of the matter is, a god from the celestial plane didn't just manifest here. They actually came here from the celestial plane and removed themselves from it in order to come here. That is unique. That doesn't happen often. It's not perfectly unique. It has happened a couple of times, but it's extremely rare. And it has actually disturbed the entire area with interplanar energy, as when the Nihilist fell here, they sort of ripped the fabric of reality a bit. It's mostly gone back to normal now. It's sort of healed over, but it's still a weak spot, a thin spot. Especially, there is a cave to the north of the town that heads into the glacier, a glacial cave, that is only exposed during low tide. And when that cave is exposed, Kestrel Lark went into that cave and investigated and found that it was an especially weak spot of the fabric of reality here. They theorized that with the correct ritual, your master, or at least some part of his power, could be manifested into this plane. And then there's the details of the ritual. As you go to read the details of the ritual, though, you hear a noise behind you in the library.
I'll turn around.
There is a man in a long, flowing wizard robe. They look like a higher level employee of the library, if not like one of the managing staff. And they are watching you like a hawk. Their eyes are locked on you. Well, they're actually shifting between you and the journal you're holding.
Hello there.
You can read that.
Yeah, it's a book.
This is the untranslatable section. No
Oh.
one can read these books. And yet you just walked in, picked up a book,
Hey,
and
I
started
have
reading it.
an account. I can read. I can read books.
What kind of magic are you using? We've tried every form of divination on every book in these shelves, and they have revealed nothing to us.
Oh, divination! No, no, no. That won't work. That won't do it all.
I'm going to pause this interaction because it's about time that we talk to someone else in the party.
Yeah, I figured. Going on for a while.
Yeah. Basically, you've been caught by a higher level library member who is suspicious of you now. Because you didn't think to take the book or go somewhere private or anything. So, how is Michael doing? How's Michael's connection doing?
Does Michael?
Hello? Hello? Testing, testing?
Okay, I can understand that.
Okay.
Alright.
I'll probably still stick to not my character's voice just to make sure it comes through clear for now.
That's fair. Alright, so Shadow is standing in front of the manor house with Xavier, and you've just said hi. What happens?
So he hands the letter that Xavier handed him last night and says, "We may have a business opportunity," and points out the bottom section.
Xavier reads it very quickly. He didn't read it initially, of course. It was sealed. Also, he, doesn't intrude on private shit, because he's polite. He reads over it quickly, and then, he gets this look. It's sort of halfway between nervousness and excitement. And he says, "Ooh, this could be very good. Or horrendously bad, but it could be very good." Well, it's extended specifically to you. I mean, do you want to involve the rest of the party in this?
I'd be all right with it, but you're also sort of our leader, too.
I'm the guild master. I would have to be there to accept whatever deal goes on, but you are the adventuring party. I mean, you
We'd
have the
obviously
full
still
right
to-
to hear out their request and accept or deny it.
I guess we'll check with the rest of the party when they get back.
That sounds good. Mind you, I do have some questions about the top part of this. You didn't inform me that you were financially struggling?
Yeah, I don't I was, and I didn't know till now where it even came from.
You took a loan from someone you didn't know.
I don't even remember taking a loan.
Oh. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I suppose we will get to the bottom of this. And then I guess that's the end of that interaction until the rest of the party
That's the
meets
end of
up.
that one. And then something I'd like to do for after that too is try to search for a place for the bracers to try to get up pricing on them for
Right.
like fixing them.
So you'd be looking for some kind of artificer role, I guess, history with advantage because you're from here.
Okay. Just wait. I need to get back into Roll20 since
Oh, I can do
Discord
it.
is.
I can do it. I can do it.
Okay. Yeah, Discord was being somewhat stupid earlier and kept cutting in and out if you couldn't realize.
Oh no, I noticed. It was very loud. It's fine. It's not your fault. So history with advantage. Boop-a-doo. That's a 19. Yeah. So in various sections of Gildern, you know that Gildern would be the place to look. Gildern is sort of more magically inclined than the rest of the city. The library's influence and the availability of knowledge on magic and such has really increased Gildern's arcane population. You look around for an artificer for a while, and eventually you do manage to find uh, some basically you ask around at the general stores, just sort of where would I find this kind of thing, and one of them knows of someone in South Bank actually that might be able to help you out, and so you head down there, and it's this little place. Looks kind of unassuming. It's just a blacksmith shop at first glance, run by a dwarven man and his halfling wife.
I approach and ask who I should talk to about such an item here.
Alright, you show off your bracers and you ask what you should do, and you explain that they're magic. And they sort of glance at each other and then wait until someone else leaves the shop, and then they say, can you keep a secret?
Okay.
Uh, the halfling says, you're going to want to talk to my husband.
And where would I do that?
And the dwarf says, well, he should be down in the basement. Through that door
Okay.
there.
May I go down then?
You're not gonna be interested in the fact that my wife and I have another husband that we keep in the basement? Okay, well,
It is strange, but I've probably heard of stranger before.
alright, well, just don't tell the churches. They tend to be pissy about that kind of thing. Tell them I said hi, and then they send you down
Okay.
into the basement. There is a gnome man here, tinkering with various magical artifacts.
Mm.
Ah, hello there. Did you meet the wife and the husband?
Yes, I have. They said you could help me with these, possibly?
Ah, magical work. Let's see. They take out several like magical magnifying glasses and things, and they sort of look over, and they say, "Feel free to look around the place while I investigate." And there seem to be a couple of things that are actually for sale here, other than just sort of general artificer work. The main thing that catches your eye is this big magnifying glass with a price tag under it and a plaque that explains that it is a magical item with the it gives you +2 to your investigation checks when you use it for investigation, and it has a charge. Once a day, it can instantly cast in the Identify spell.
Ooh.
It is 75 gold. There's a bunch of them around.
75 gold for magnifying glass set.
Something you could come back and look at later.
Yeah.
By the way, the name of this shop is Trinity.
Hmm?
The name of the shop is Trinity.
Trinity, okay.
Yeah. Because they're polyamorous. Anyway. After a while, the gnome comes back and says, "Well, those are busted. What even happened to them?"
I don't know. They were my father.
Well, they're gonna need some work on the runes as well as a couple of replacement materials that are kinda expensive, but they're certainly it's possible to fix them. I could get them back in semi-working order for about tell you what, maybe 100 gold pieces. In order to fully restore them, though, I would need some rarer materials. Just the cost of the materials alone would be at least 200, and the work would take a while. I'd have to drop my other projects for a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and say that fully fixing them would be 500 at least.
So fully fixed is 500. Mostly fixed is 100.
Yep.
Okay. Just gonna note that down quick.
I believe I told you before what mostly fixed and fully fixed do as far as the bracers. I don't actually remember off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure I told you, and I told you to write it down.
Partially fixed. You never told me a price on it, but partially fixed was they can actually do the transforming, and fully fixed was they have +1.
Ah, okay. Yeah. So that's the price range. Now you know. You can't afford it, but you know.
I know.
Alright. I think that's where I'm gonna end it for this session real quick. I know, Riley, we didn't get to do much, but I'm gonna spend a lot more time with you as a focus character later on. I just didn't have anything specifically for your character right now.
Understandable.
Yeah. Alright. Well, this has been pleasant.
It has.
We will pick this back up next week.
All right, perfect. Talk to you guys then.
Hunky dory.
See you.